Hey there, welcome to today's episode. It's going to be a live unedited session, but it's not going to be a long video. I just want to answer a question that was asked multiple times in the YouTube comments. How do you chop up a sample that is already loaded onto the device? I showed you in another video how to chop up a sample coming from the line inputs, and you can chop that in real time as you go through. But if you've got a folder full of vinyl samples, some drum breaks, whatever it is, you want to slice it up, this is how you do it. I'm going to be using the choke kit template. I showed you that in the other video. You can find that in the templates folder on the device. We've got everything inside of a choke group. We're going to choose a sample for our pad. So I'm going to select the pad and I need to choose something to slice up. So in my user samples, I've got a chop here. It's got a funny title, but don't worry about that. I'm going to load it onto my first pad. And then what we can do is just play a little bit of that. And you'll notice I'll be using the whole button as my temporary kill all samples button. What we really need on this device is like the MPC. I'm hoping we see it in a firmware update where you can double click like the play button and it will stop the playback of long samples. The reason for that is because as I'm demonstrating this, it gets a little bit irritating if we have to keep listening to the full 4 bars of this sample. So we've loaded in our sample. The next step is to put it onto the first step in the sequencer because you need the sample to be playing. So it needs to be loaded into a clip in order to move into the other menu to chop it up. The easiest way to do that is to just put it onto the first step in your sequencer. Again, it starts playing, so I just need to kill that sample for a second. I know that this is a 4-bar sample. I created it. So when we set our loop length, I need to just allow for the length of that. Now, I'm not too worried about setting the tempo. You could get into that if you really wanted to, but all I want is to make sure that my loop length is longer than the sample, so the whole sample is going to play. So I'm just going to crank that up to whatever, 10 bars will be fine. I can then move into the sample chopping menu, and I don't even have to press play. I just need to start sample chopping. I'm going to be starting from the bottom left and moving across, but I think you can go in any direction you like. That's going to be enough for this demonstration. I'm going to press stop because you'll notice it kicks off the sequencer because we are playing the sample. The one thing you need to bear in mind though is that we put the sample on the first pad, so you need to take it back off the step sequencer, otherwise you're going to keep playing your first sample slice every time it loops around. But essentially that is it. It's very simple. These are all now chopped and they are in a choke group. And that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you know another way to sample chop, you think you've got a better way, I'm always eager to learn, but that's the easiest way I've found to sample chop on this device from samples loaded inside of the device already. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next episode.